Yeah, most people don't try their hardest. I would agree with you. I've never seen somebody try their hardest and fail in my life. So when I see somebody who doesn't have what they want, I know they haven't tried their hardest. And that's a constant universal fact. I've never seen somebody truly dedicate themselves to anything and fail. You guys dedicate yourself to this podcast. Here it is. As did I. I've never seen anybody truly try and fail in history ever.
We don't miss days. Actually, bro, whatever we want to achieve, bro, we just put it on our head. Until we get it, we don't sleep.
There's a great quote, I think it's by this guy named Richard Feynman, who says, the first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you're the easiest person to fool. So we construct these crazy Disneyland realities in our brain, right? And then feed it back to ourselves. How do you shatter that?
Well, your first thing, you're fighting, we all have two people. We all have two people. And I'm not saying you're crazy. We have the easy voice, which is that 20% telling yourself that I'm easy at 90% of my full potential, maybe 100% at that 20%. That's that voice that we all love. That's that very comfortable voice, that's that mommy holding you saying it's going to be okay. Doesn't care how good you are, just loves you. Just loves you no matter how messed up you are in life. That's where you want to be at. So that's that one voice. This other voice that we walk very far away from is a voice saying, hey man, you ain't doing shit. So we try to get this voice out of our head completely. And we live over here in this land. So what you have to do first is turn up this voice over here. The voice saying things to you that aren't nice. That it's in our head saying, you know what, man, dude, you're not doing shit. You're not and it's not putting yourself down. People take this the wrong way in this new society. I'm not saying to put yourself down. I'm saying listen to the truth. And the truth isn't in the 20%. The truth is in this other part of your brain saying, look, man, you're wasting a bunch of percentage here. We have 80 more percent that we're not tapping into, because in this other 80% is suffering, pain, failure, self-doubt, darkness, and then a whole bunch of light. But to get to this light, you gotta go through all of this shit. So a lot of us know that. We know.
We do know deep down.
Yeah, I can get over here, but over here, man, this is much better, because I gotta go through this journey that is not fun. This from 20 to 100%, this shit in between is not fun. So we decide to live over here. So everybody goes, how do you do that? You know exactly how to do that. You know exactly, it's not a magic trick. There's nothing I talk about in that book that's a magic trick. It's all back down to a very primitive mindset of we just have to do. It's like breathing. Breathing becomes normal. Like we don't even know that we're doing it. That's how you have to live your life. When that alarm clock goes off at 4 or 5 in the morning, your mind says no. You just say, it's just what we do. It's what we do now. Because to get to where you want to go, the amount of pain involved, I'm not saying physical, I'm not saying you got to break yourself off. The amount of mental pain of how many times you're going to have to do something that you don't want to do to get to where you want to go is going to be, there's going to be more times you do something that you don't want to do than you are going to want to do it. And that's your new norm. That's your new norm. So then it's like breathing. And then once you do this over and over and over again, it becomes like breathing. I don't want to live this lifestyle, but to get to the other side of this, I have to. So if you really want it, you realize what trying is and what trying is not.
Hard work actually works. And with virtually everything. It might not make you the best at whatever it is you're pursuing, but it will certainly make you better than you are. And then I have this new book. I hope you got a copy, because did you get a copy? Okay, so I'm bringing it up for a particular reason. I have a chapter in this book called, there's two that are relevant. Imagine who you could be and then aim single-mindedly at that. That's one. And then the course, or what would you call it? A complementary chapter is work as hard as you possibly can on one thing and see what happens. And that's also predicated on this idea that discipline is a precondition to freedom. So you were fortunate, like you had this goal, right? So that meant you had a goal, which is a really big deal because you could learn about goals. You had a sense of a higher mode of moral being, that I would rather be a good SEAL than the person I am now. Well, it's a code of behavior and a way of perceiving. So there's an ethic in that. And then you said as well, your conception of what good SEAL meant changed as you matured. But that's also fine. It wouldn't have changed unless you would have pursued that initial only partially accurate goal. And so that's also a really good thing for people to understand is like, if you don't know what you're doing, aim at something. Is it the right thing? No, but it's better than just shooting randomly. So you aim at something, and then as you aim and you move towards it, you're going to find out why you're wrong. And then you might recalibrate your aim. And that's going to happen over and over because as you move towards a goal, it recedes or it broadens or it recedes and broadens. And otherwise you'd run out of things to do. My dad told me something, and then this might be more relevant to guns, but my dad collects single shot rifles and he has a lot of them, like hundreds of them. And he's a gunsmith and makes stocks and hand carves them. And anyways, he's an artisan in that regard. And it's a real focal obsession. He's a great shot. He shot at the provincial level, which would be the state level in the US. But it was single shots and he hunted. And so we grew up on moose meat and elk meat. And he brought elk into northern Alberta as part of a repopulation attempt. Anyways, I could never understand his fascination with guns. Because it was really a deep fascination. So it was something that elicited my curiosity. And at one point I realized that he only hunted with single shots. So he had one shot at whatever he was hunting. So it had to be a good shot. And so he was pushing himself. And then I realized, well, he was really obsessed with hitting the target, taking aim and hitting the target. And it was about that time I learned that the Greek word for sin, hamartia, meant to miss the target. So there's this tight alignment between taking careful aim at the center of something precisely and then bringing yourself into alignment so that you would hit that target. There's a deep morality in that. It's a morality of hunting. It might be a morality of combat. And it's really deeply embedded inside of people. And that was what had my father in its grip.
Play the game.
Yeah. So fake it.
Play the game.
Yeah.
And you know what he wrote back? Got it.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Yeah.
Because what everybody I think thinks I'm gonna say is like, no, you be true to yourself. No, you don't play the game. You're not gonna get up there and act all passionate about stuff. You're hardcore. No.
Yeah.
Play the game. Now, because what you're doing when you play the game, you want to do a good job, and you're doing your job. And doing your job, doing any job, requires some level of faking it.
Yeah.
Now, does this mean that you're a fake person? No, it means that you're trying to do a good job. Think if every time that your boss came in with a dumb idea, and your reaction was to say, "That's a dumb idea."
Yeah.
Is that going to get you anywhere? Or every time a customer had an idiotic complaint about something, you were like, "Hey, you're an idiot."
Yeah.
Or every time your wife said, "Is this chicken dry?" And you said it's drier than a piece of cardboard in the Sahara Desert. Would you benefit from that? How would that work out? The answer is he would not work out well. In any of those cases, you have to play the game. You have to play the game, and I know that that's hard. And I'll tell you what I did to get myself over playing the game. I turned it into a game in my head. I was like, I'm gonna build a relationship with this boss that I don't like. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna build the best relationship. That's my game. I'm gonna become this guy's bro, right? When I was at Officer Candidate School, you got to do the most ridiculous rules. They have these rules that you've got to follow that were really annoying. And you know what I did? I executed the rules harder and more stringently than anybody thought was even remotely necessary, and had fun with it.